because I put up with your shit.
I should have washed my face before I came in here. All shiny. Anybody got some concealer?
I was trying to say this.
Oh, I have some flesh tone like touch up.
Does it? You would.
My flesh tone. Jesus.
Yeah, me appearing in whiteface probably didn't go over very well.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus. My God. What are we doing now?
Can you hear through the plastic?
Hold on, I need to get. Where's the God damn it?
Ricardito.
No. I dubbed the Magnegro.
Please tell me you're recording on that one. Holy shit. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hype Attack Podcast. I'm Isaac, and with me, as always, we're all together, is Douglas, Jermaine, and Rudy. And this is part 2 of X-Men 97, a continuation, because we wanted to leave you wanting a little more, and we also wanted to do the show justice, because it's just that fucking amazing.
It's so fucking good.
It's so goddamn good.
It's really good.
Please, sir. Can I have some more?
Little disclaimer, we're already a little sauced up, because that's the way we do the Hype Attack.
I think some of our most compelling content comes when we're fucking sloshed, but you know, that's just me.
So let's see what fucking happens. We're going to go ahead and skip all of the, what do we hype about? Because we didn't realize how much and how, I never know how deep I'm going to go with the part 1. So we're just going to skip all that altogether.
I usually, we give the tip at least when we cover something, but this one we just bottomed out.
Yeah.
And there was still so much more left to plumb, so we had to break it up in 2 pieces.
Here's a way with words.
I don't know if I mentioned it in the last one because I was drunk in the last one also. But seriously, the best superhero content we've had beyond comic books.
Like the amount of videos that I've seen thrown up saying that X-Men 97 is single-handedly saving Marvel is
Yeah.
a little ridiculous, but you know.
Yeah,
But then you get a bad movie and a bad show, and you're like, oh, Marvel's in the shitter again. So it's, you're only as good as your last content.
Yeah.
Right. But they announced, I think, maybe it was this week. Maybe it was in between these episodes, these recordings, is they're planning on doing like no more than 2 movies a year.
Oh, that's right.
They put a limit.
Yeah.
They recognized that they were just spreading the
They need to
seed
hold back
everywhere.
'cause
Yeah.
they're just spitting stuff out at this point.
And not to go on too much of a tangent, but I do think there was a little bit of a superhero oversaturation.
Fatigue.
Yeah. A little superhero fatigue.
I think
You got so much
No,
of
we're
that.
gonna do another
Tell
fight.
me how you
And
feel, son.
I might agree with Jermaine on this one. No, fuck off.
Okay.
No, honestly, because if it was good, then the fatigue, that word wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
If it was what we were getting in the beginning,
Sure, yeah.
then that word wouldn't be there.
But were we really getting good stuff at the beginning?
we were getting.
Hold on. I think a glass broke somewhere. Take a deep breath for this.
We were getting.
Just because it was new.
I think Allie's ears are like,
I think we were getting. We were getting at least as much good as we were getting bad.
Really, Iron Man 2 and Thor.
Like
Thor
those
2.
those were balanced out by the other shit that they were doing. And and they were doing it fast enough where you could kind of wash that out of your system.
Yeah.
And here's this new thing.
But do you feel lately it's just been...
Now it's it's more skewed towards, I think maybe because they were trying to get them out as fast as possible.
Because
That
what
they
were
were
the
all
last
going
2 good
low
movies
quality.
you went to go see?
as far as Marvel's concerned?
Yeah.
Oh, specifically Marvel?
Yeah, specifically Marvel.
I mean, I think we covered the Marvels.
The
and it
Marvels?
was,
Probably
it was
name
good, but it wasn't
The
like...
only 2.
What?
The one with Doctor Strange.
Multiverse of Madness?
The Multiverse of Madness was solid, but then the only one that I can think of that everybody ranted and raved about,
No Way Home?
yeah, was because of the 3 Peters.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love 3
My
Peters.
fantasy. That's my fantasy.
Yeah.
I would probably say
One on
that
each
was
cheek.
the last. That was probably the last one that
Dead Center?
that everybody got excited and hyped about, and it lived up to the hype. Everything else was kind of like It's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
and,
okay.
and this, I mean, it's a conversation for a whole nother episode or a whole nother show. But no, I agree that yeah, No Way Home definitely lived up to that hype because we all knew it was coming. We all knew, no matter how much they tried to hide it. But what you were saying, the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Say that 5 times fast.
I mean, not right now because I'm drunk. I thought it was good. I thought there was some good horror elements, and Sam Raimi
Raimi,
was directing it. Like, but you know, people weren't happy about it, and it was too much or whatever. And then the Marvels that you brought up, the same thing. A lot of people weren't happy about it, which I thought the Marvels was great. I will die on that hill that I think the Marvels was great, and I think it undeservedly got a lot of hate.
Agreed. Do you think, again, a whole different tangent, but we'll jump back to X-Men 97 in a second, but do you think that the Endgame, the Infinity Saga, or excuse me, the last 2 movies set this really high fucking standard?
I think it called out people for not really being the nerds that they think they are. I think that the original Marvel setup was just people like kind of getting into the modern thing, and like the actors, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Pratt. Like, I think people were buying into that thing, and it was like this whole new thing that that Marvel was setting up that had never been done before. And then it finished. And then like we as comic book fans were like, yeah, ready for the new thing. That's what happens. And
they kind of kept going forward without it feeling like they had a plan, because we get all these movies. We just named these movies, but we got the Eternals.
Yeah,
we got
that's right.
I fucking love the
sorry,
Eternals.
Yeah, I like that
if
a
I
lot.
say this wrong, but Shang-Chi, you know, which was a solid movie, but
Yeah, that one doesn't get enough credit.
it's where
Wasn't it mostly an advertisement for like Toyota or something? There was some car.
where's
they
the
advertised
direction
the
that
shit
we're
out of.
going.
Yeah.
Because you get all these multiple
Diana.
endings, and Marvel fanboys, you know, which I'm one of them too, but they just love that recipe that we got in the beginning, you know, which it ended, and you either got Sam Jackson or something that linked while you were moving forward. Now it's like you get this ending from this movie, you get this ending from this movie, you get this ending from this movie, but nothing really links to say where we're going from here.
Yeah, because
It's almost too obvious that you can sense that they're putting their feelers out.
Yeah, that's
to what catches.
That's exactly what
I
it
and
remember
anyone
that-
that's paying attention is just like, fuck off.
I remember them saying like, all right, and now we're on to, phase 4. We're like, wait, what happened to phase 3? Because everything on the first 2 phases was very like, here's this, that, and the other, setting up for the next thing.
Do you guys remember them saying that the next phase wasn't going to take 10 years?
Yeah, I remember that.
And
And here we are.
they said it was going to be like 5 years, you know, in
Here we are.
between these like epic stories. And I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
No cohesive, like, just overview plan, like, direction.
Yeah. All decent stuff. But mostly kind of like meh.
Well, okay.
Until we got X-Men 97.
Right. And so let's go. I know I'm not going to even segue into anything else, just to go right into that. So let's pick back up where we left off.
So
Hold on, where we left off?
Wait.
Everybody started.
You know what? No. I want to go back a little further because we didn't give a really cool moment any time, and it was back, I think, in the second episode. It was during like the UN thing. Magneto was on trial, and what we thought was Jean Grey at the time, which turned out to be Madeline Pryor, was going to give birth, and who had to drive her? Wolverine. Like we didn't acknowledge that moment at all. Like that was such a fun Wolverine and Jean Grey moment.
What does he say
Wolverine got his closet and everything.
when
bro.
she when she finally gets through to Logan that she's having to get Disney, like, oh crap.
Apocalypse? Yeah. Is it Apocalypse? What is it? Huh? Sentinels?
I like that moment of panic.
Ready for everything except that thing. But And so like their whole drive to the hospital was so funny. Something I don't think we ever gotten, but the really heartfelt moment was when they do finally get the hospital, because they're going back and forth between Magneto giving his speech at the UN, and at when what he's saying is parallel to what's happening at the hospital,
Yeah,
where
you got a lot of parallels in this.
the doctor turns them away. I don't treat your kind. And thankfully, Rogue comes in, saves the day. He's like, nah, bitch, and just taps them. And she's like, all right, I need fucking whatever, CC stat. And she takes over and delivers a baby. But that was a really crucial moment that we happen to skip over. Because it's just, there's so much going on in the show, which is great. It's awesome. It's rich. But, as we're trying to like break it down and we got our 4 brains trying to like, oh, but this, but that.
I do like that they're giving us a lot more than what we thought this show was going to be.
110%.
We're like, oh, we're going to X-Men
Absolutely.
back. We're going to X-Men back.
I got scared. You started to get emotional. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was...
what are feelings? So anyway, fast forward and
Episode 6.
Gambit has died.
He will be avenged.
Yeah.
And episode 6, Life Death Part 2 opens up with Gambit's funeral. Man, I mean, it just carried that emotional heaviness from the last episode into this one.
I like that they didn't like give you like a chance to catch your breath. Like you got that moment, and we're already in the funeral, just sitting here.
And who's
more
not there?
feels.
And who's not there? Rogue.
Oh, yes. I was like Gambit because he's the no. But yeah.
Yeah, Rogue is the only one not there. Everyone grieves in their own way.
Because she went what?
She went rogue. I wrote that down right over here. Rogue goes rogue.
Nice. Hell yeah.
I stole your pun.
I wrote it for you, son of a bitch. Credit to me. Rogue goes rogue. She's searching for Gyrick. Mm-hmm. So Gyrick is kind of the cause for all this shit.
I love they just show her like taking off, and
Holy
she's just
fuck.
like full force and full like just
as a reminder that her backstory, her history is kind of a villainous one. She wasn't, the golden child. I mean, she, that's why her and Gambit fell in love. They're troublemakers, and she's like, "Fuck this shit." I mean, to kind of quote what Magneto had said in that UN episode is they made her let them down, right?
Oh, yeah. They said something like that.
Yeah, something along the lines of that. And
But in all fairness, she has all the right to feel the way she's feeling and go after whoever she's going after.
that attack is crucial to the whole storyline.
And that video game parallel to
where she's fucking wrecking everyone in all her classic poses.
Oh yeah,
she does all the classic poses and the classic rogue kick
the
from
kid.
that's where the animation of the show
yeah.
really fucking
Wait, that was
stepped
this
this game
episode,
up.
right?
Yeah,
Captain
yeah.
America cameo. I fucking loved the Captain America cameo where she was just like, "Oh, you're not gonna help me? Yeet!"
Yeah,
Just fucking tosses
you don't need
shield. Tosses shield. Like there was like storytelling was there was no reason to put it out there.
some kid in Africa's like,
Yeah, that's a good point. Someone's just going for a hike. It's like a white guy going like, "Hi, hi, hi."
life is good.
Wham! Whammy!
Holy fuck, I'm cut in half.
Yeah.
Oh my god, how am I alive? How am I alive? Is that Captain America's shield? Cool.
He just
Nothing,
fucking
and then dies.
yeeted that shield. But what a good way to like handle a cameo.
it was
Yeah.
short, sweet, clean.
Which something this series has done really well, and we'll talk about it as we go through these episodes. Because it's certainly within the Marvel universe, even though we're focused on the X-Men, but we've seen we've gotten a few cameos that have been really, really good.
And was it the ending of the last episode, or was it this episode where we find out that Charles is?
Yeah, I was just looking at
some space bitch.
I actually was looking at that right now. I think we might have skipped an
Shi'ar.
episode. Episode 6, Life
Life
Death
Death Part 2.
is more of a
Focus on Charles Xavier and
And
Shi'ar
Storm.
shenanigans.
They pulled a classic,
my
like
bad.
like series. Whatever.
I mentioned at the beginning of this episode
I
that we
saw
were
it, but
drunk.
I didn't want to derail you, so I just let him go.
Literally,
Everything we
filler-
said, that's for episode 7, Bright Eyes.
literally
as
filler
was
shit.
mentioned, some of us are drunk.
Some of us.
I mean,
God damn, brought to you by Brewery X.
yeah, shout out Brewery X, amazing here in Anaheim. I mean, so many series do this now where they have that big moment. So episode 5 was that big moment. Gambit dying, Magneto apparently dying, like the attack on Genosha, and then the next episode you excitedly tune in, and it's some just off the wall like
Yeah.
space shit.
They give you that, and now for something completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
The Space Avengers.
I mean, I'm assuming all of this is going to eventually matter in the long run. I mean, we figured out what Xavier was doing, and that one that
feel
he's
like
alive.
Clapping some alien cheeks, yeah?
It
Yeah.
goes to his speech. It goes to his speech what he told Cyclops. You know, I'm going to fast forward, but you know, he has his life to live, and you know, he
Yeah.
quote unquote, you know, wanted this for himself, and why he told him, you know, why I gave Magneto to X-Men and not you, you know, even though Cyclops was really pissed, but he was like, you're having a baby. I want you to go live your life. You know, you've done everything that I've asked, you know.
Yeah. Oh, he was super pissed about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But it's, in all reality, even if Cyclops has his life, he's not leaving. You know, he's like a old boy from Wolf of Wall Street. You know, I'm not fucking leaving. Regardless of what happens, I feel like he would still come back. Like
Yeah.
anytime they need him.
He says as much. He's like, even if I had left, I'd still be. They pulled me right back in here when something happened with Mutant Kind. But back to Life, Death Part 2 and Charles Xavier out in the universe. I like the episode. I mean X-Men and, you know, filling lore and stuff like that, but in the context of everything else that was going on, it was a departure.
Yeah.
It was like, ugh.
I mean, like I said, I feel like at this point it's so standard in any show that gives us that like big heartstring pulling shit. Then the next episode is that like completely random shit where we as an audience have to get even more mad. Like, oh, you're making us fucking wait again. And again, going back to what I was saying last episode, where like if I hadn't played Marvel Snap, I wouldn't know any of these fucking characters. Sorry, I was a DC. I couldn't afford. I was dropping back when I read comics. I was
You about to
dropping like
say the upstairs person? No, I'm kidding.
no. Back when I was reading comics, I was dropping like $60 a week on fucking DC. If I picked up Marvel, it'd be like I'd just be broke. I'd be sucking cock for fucking comics.
See, mine would have just been like, I'm sucking cock. Full stop.
Like the X-Men was
Moment brought to you
the
by
only
Burry
comic
X.
series that I could like actually spend money on.
Yeah.
Or that I actually had money to spend on. So I'd get those and that'd be it. And I'm like, okay. Like I still have some of those comics, I think, too, from back when I was a kid.
X-Men was the only Marvel stuff. Because again, I like early on I was like, I'm a DC fan. But early on I was like, oh man, I want to get this X-Men stuff. That and like Scarlet Spider for whatever reason during the clone era.
Ben Riley.
Yeah.
Dramatic Ben Reilly.
But so are we saying that the Charles Xavier stuff was kind of, you know, like the Ohio of this season's a flyover state?
I mean, it wasn't
They needed to do it in order to bring him back.
a bad episode. You needed to see, you know, where he was and what he was doing, and then him actually making the choice of, you know, I'm going back. But I love the visual visions that he got, you know, when he kind of like sensed everything that was going on.
Well, I don't want to jump ahead. Sorry, I am going to cut you off. I don't want to jump ahead just yet because you know it starts off with you see like the Space Avengers, right? I think it's Deathbird and whoever else they're doing their battles. And you're like, I'm cheering for them. I like them.
Yeah, like Sentinel and
And apparently the aliens are called
Sentry.
like, the She-Ra. And they're fighting against.
No,
who-
Sentry is isn't Sentry a hero?
oh, I
thought
don't.
Sentry was
I
there.
didn't write
know,
down
I just
there.
threw out fucking names.
But
The
they're fighting the who are the blue people with Ronin.
Krull.
Yeah.
Kree.
Scroll.
The Kree.
Skrull.
The Kree.
Kree.
Right?
Kree.
So they're battling the Kree. The Kree's like this, everyone fucking hates the Kree. They're this like major empire shit. But, excuse me,
Gross.
as this episode reveals itself and the She-Ra reveal themselves, they are also racist against mutants because it was Deathbird that says, "Oh, and have our blood mixed with his inferior freak fluid." Nobody likes the mutants.
She wasn't. No, she wasn't.
I wrote that shit down right here.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I don't think it was. It was that. I think it was more just Terran. Because I do remember one of the lines was like, "What this
Rudy.
monkey or ape biology?"
Rudy. Freak fluid. I have it in caps. She said, I was like, because the same thing, I was like, okay, with the humans, the Terrans, and then said freak fluid.
Yeah, freak fluid as in human because they're not human.
God, I have to disagree with you on that
guzzle
one.
some fucking freak fluid right now.
You get on DoorDash, give me some freak fluid.
But it was Deathbird who challenges Charles.
Freshly milked.
And like it says, like, well, if you're gonna stay here and shack up with the Queen, then you're gonna have to give up your memories, which means you're gonna have to give up your X-Men. And he's like, okay, and kind of calls her bluff. And then they, apparently the She-Ra. Shi'ar. I fucking phonetically wrote that down
She-Ra.
wrong. They are also like powerful psychics, and so they can sort of implement this whole like ritual thing and try to have him give up the memories. But I don't. Do you guys remember what happened in that moment where he's like, "I'm gonna school you guys now,"
Yeah.
right?
It was good. Everyone started fighting, like because he was like, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it, and I kind of want to do it, and I don't want to do it. And she's like, he hesitates.
Yeah,
he who
that's
hesitates
right. That's right. There you go.
masturbates. And then everyone starts fighting, and then he's like, well, let me take these fools
Let
to
me
school.
pause this and masturbate. real
Literally.
quick.
So that's when he astral projects all of them to the astral plane, and where he has dominance, and starts giving them the lesson.
Yeah. Literally in a classroom. It was awesome.
He's like, you guys are imperial assholes. It turns out.
And during that whole alien storyline with Charles and the Shi'ar, we are bouncing back and forth between Storm trying to, or Forrest trying to help Storm get her powers back. I mean, to no avail. So it's kind of like, I think we were talking about it. It was like, as far as like the storylines, it was more like, a lot of talking and really not a lot of action. Like, oh, it's okay. Because it was until I think they get the end of that one or the next episode, she finally gets her fucking powers back. But then
It was a cool way to introduce Forge and like kind of give him a good like connection to the team and stuff.
it was during that one where you guys noticed that he when this whole thing's happening where Storm's trying to get her powers back, and then she's being plagued by what the hell is it called?
The adversary.
The adversary. Where did I write that down? The adversary. And then he like helps her after she does get her powers back finally in like some whole mind situation. He fights the adversary with some magic.
No, he does that before she gets her powers back.
Was it?
Yeah. Because he is,
so.
I believe he's Native American.
Yeah.
And his mom was kind of a shaman. And he had this, this ritual spell book and whatever. And it's when the adversary first reveals himself and he's like, has her cornered and he comes out with the book like, get behind me, Satan. And like banishes him from the house.
It's cool though, like the magic is that of like Doctor Strange with like the glyphs around his hand and shit.
Well, magic is magic in the Marvel universe, so it all connects.
Yeah.
Which was a pretty cool callback.
It was a huge thing.
I'm a big fan of that. Like make magic fucking work.
But it was the adversary poisoning Forge that forced Storm to go on a quest.
That's right, yeah.
And then she ends up in a narrow cave and has to confront her extreme claustrophobia.
Of all things, I was like,
Yeah.
oof.
And then from there, like pushes through it, breaks the boundaries, and regains her powers.
It was inside her all along.
Yeah.
I like to get in Storm's narrow cave. I'm just saying.
Oh, row.
Break those.
No, that's her
boundaries.
name, Aurora.
I know.
And
Not
there you
row.
go.
Row.
So anyway, she overcomes her fears, gains her powers, defeats the adversary, and then she heals Forge. And then from there, they learn about the attack on Genosha.
Yeah.
And then we get
That
a little
fucking attack.
We get a little aside of Trask and Mr. Sinister, and they're one of us complaining about Genosha, and oh, I didn't know it was gonna be all this, and Mr. Sinister is like, stop it, stop it. We're evil. We do evil things. Come on, man, get on board.
And then it was during Xavier schooling them that as he's doing that and like he's like balls deep in it, momentum going. Then he gets a flash of one of his X-Men.
Because that vision of just Gambit just sitting there, I was like, no, not like that.
And then they carried that that his reaction into episode 7, Bright Eyes, which we covered.
A little bit. Yeah.
Can you just call out how cool it was when Rogue's assaulting the army base and it's fucking Thunderbolt Ross in there going, this place was meant to imprison the Hulk. What can she do? And she just busts in and starts fucking shit up.
Yeah.
The minute he said that, I was like, no. I mean, you fucked up.
So going into the second half of episode 7, Bright Eyes, she touches Gyrick, gets all his memories and information, finds who she really wants to find, which is Trask, who calls him Oppenheimer. And then a beat later, he goes, "Now I am become death." Like, relax there, dude.
Was this the episode where she just dropped him?
Yeah.
Yes. So so the whole X-Men confront Rogue and Trask, and he's going on about what he was doing. They forked him, blah 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 blah.
She did the Batman without the Batman.
And she's like, "Well, guess we can't help you," because she ain't part of the X-Men in that moment. She's Rogue, and just drops him. And like out of everyone there, no one, Nightcrawler didn't like bamf and teleport. No one tried to save Trask. They're like, "Oh no, look what Rogue did."
Effort.
Oh.
No. Don't do it.
And then they're like, "How could you? We don't do that. We don't kill." And luckily for her, Trask wasn't fully human.
And then the dun dun dun.
And this is where we get our first glimpse of the Prime Sentinels.
Like their design?
Oh yeah, I'm cool with it.
I mean, it's how do you splice a Sentinel and a human together and make it look cool?
So because it looks like it, yeah.
It's the kind of shit that works so well in the cartoon and comic book because a live action, if that shit happened in a live action movie, you'd be like, oh Jesus, I don't know, I wouldn't have
That's
liked
a
it.
great point. Yeah, I'm curious about those moments.
The whole time I'm looking at him like hovering in air. I'm like, where the fuck did he get those magnificent foot boosters from?
Oh yeah,
Like
no,
were those
the
just
whole
disguised
time, yeah.
in his keels the whole time? Like,
Yeah, and that's the
Turns human again. He's like, my feet hurt so bad.
That's the fun of comic books and cartoons is I think all of us, I hope listeners included, we allow that freedom.
Totally.
Absolutely. But once it's in a live action movie, I feel like we just like, that's not realistic. Like we can't help ourselves. I mean,
was it nanobots and emitting propulsions from his feet?
yeah. And I mean, I don't know, whatever. Long story short, calm the fuck down. Just shut up. It's fucking comic books. If you want to be a comic book fan, just accept this shit. Fuck off.
but
Now I'm mad. Let's just keep going. Episode 7, Bright Eyes. What are we doing?
Trask puts in work on the X-Men though.
no,
Before
he did.
before Cable shows up.
What was he using? EMP?
Yeah.
Oh, the minute that grenade came out, bing, 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 I was like, my man, he's back.
And it was an immediate recognition from Scott.
Cyclops.
Was it immediate?
It was a beat or two.
You just like Cable. I thought I unsubscribed from that, and then
It's like TV back in the day before subscriptions. It's okay. You got this, Gen Z. All two of you. We're gonna do Tide shots next week, and you'll get us.
But at the end of that
I
episode,
was gonna buy that stuff. I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, I was gonna too. Also next week.
end of that episode, you do see that Bastion and Sinister are working together. That Sinister, even though as much of a badass as he is, he's working for Bastion.
Bastion.
Is it this episode where he's like, Yafu has been trying since '92 to murk the X-Men, and you ain't doing nothing right.
Yeah, what kept him behind the scenes? Like, why not act on it earlier? He didn't time travel.
He was still laying his all his work in. Prime Sentinels don't make
Place those
themselves.
chess pieces.
Yeah.
And then, but you get that shot of Gyrick, who's, I think, did Rogue put him in the hospital?
Yeah.
And then Bastion shows up and he's like, shh, 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 as he lowers the, the pillow over his face and then kills him. I'm like, whoa, it's like straight up murder on the X-Men 97. Cool.
And then,
They
of
pulling
course,
punches.
every episode has a good ending because then it was the reveal of
Magneto.
Magneto.
Yeah, Bastion shaving him.
Yeah.
His face.
Oh, yeah,
shaving his
yeah.
face.
And you're like, he's still alive.
He's shaving that bikini spider so he can put him in that Speedo.
I can't wait.
Tell me the truth, though. Did anyone really think Magneto died in the same episode that Gambit did?
No, only because of Jermaine's rule that you got in my head about that shit of like, if there's no body,
Yeah, you didn't see a body.
yeah.
The-
We'll talk about Planet of the
Watch
Apes
that in the
later.
movie. If you don't see a dead body, they're coming back.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that like just expected this whole 97 reboot to just like
Completely reinvent.
reinvent the X-Men and introduce new stuff. So like the fact that Xavier was dead. I mean, at this point we know he's still back. There was a part of me that was like, oh, they're killing off Magneto. Like, okay, because I was just anticipating this reinvention. But same thing, yeah. They didn't show the body. They also didn't like focus on it as much as they did Gambit. Like it was that direct comparison. I was just like, okay, Gambit's dead. Yeah, which is so rough.
We'll get to that. Hold on. We'll get to
Jermaine
that.
goes like
Keep
transfers
going.
himself into a cartoon
Yeah.
world and rips open the casket. He's dead.
But Magneto being back, chained to an X in his Speedos.
Well, at
Which
that
I
moment,
cannot wait to cosplay as that this Comic Con.
Well,
if anyone's going to Comic Con, if anyone's watching this show, listening to this show, and you're going to Comic Con, I don't know. What day do we get tickets? Like Friday, Saturday?
Friday,
I don't know.
Saturday.
One of those days, I'll do it. It'll be
He just
out of
has to grow
shape
his hair
captured
out
X
until then.
Men.
He just has to grow his hair out.
I'll just wear a wig.
yeah,
Not gonna be in shape though, so it's just gonna be like out of shape.
airbrushed.
Yeah, out of
abs.
shape. Magneto got captured.
Earth 616 Magneto.
Yeah. Find me getting drunk in my Speedos.
And with that, we drop into the last 3 episodes, all under the same name, Tolerance of Extinction, part 1, 2, and
They
3.
were all the same name. Yeah.
So, first episode of the final 3, Tolerance of Extinction. The UN reveals that Xavier is alive. They captured a transmission from the Shi'ar Empire announcing Charles Xavier being the new emperor, Lalandra's new main squeeze, and Bastion had that look on his face. He's like, I'm going to release this to everyone and sow more chaos. But then we get into the meat of Cable's story, talking about how Genosha is one of those fixed points in time, which I don't think is a new concept.
No, I think thanks to What If.
I think it is. They changed it because the minute Gambit died, a lot of people said that they changed the time continuity in the X-Men universe to match up with what's going on right now. I mean, I could be wrong.
Like the only time I've ever heard of like fixed points and you couldn't do anything, in and around those points was Doctor Who. I don't think I've ever watched anything else that kind of dealt specifically with that.
Marvel touched on it,
Absolute.
right? I think it was the What If or
Was it season 2? Because I never finished
no,
season 2.
I think it was season 1 with the Doctor Strange episode
The-
because he
the-
kept going back to try to change.
Oh yeah.
In
Okay. I stand corrected.
Infinity War. Where was the one
yeah.
where? No, I think it was. Where's the one where Bruce Banner goes back to get one of I think the Time Stone from the Chosen One or whatever the hell her name is, and she then explains fixed points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fixed points is one of those few things that Marvel has actually like kind of stuck to, and like done their like due diligence to make sure that everyone sticks to that.
When it
Well,
works
fuck
for
me,
them.
right? You should pay attention more.
When it works for them.
Yeah, Yeah. When the plot allows for it, that's
that plot armor.
Yeah, but we're not here to fucking dig too deep in that shit. I don't go deep. I try. I don't go deep.
I'll go deep.
Elbow deep.
So Cable does a little explaining there, and then mom and dad go to Sebastian's childhood home.
Is that his full name, Sebastian?
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Damn it, I was
touch on
trying
that.
to figure that out. I was like, Bastion's a lame ass name.
Yeah, I was thinking because like Bastion is what like a base, like a fort.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that have to do with it? And then her mom says Sebastian. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
I thought-
literally just like a
I thought
nickname.
I thought Bastion was like another Seven Dwarf or something. Seven Dwarf.
He's just a
dumb.
bastard.
Oh, he kind of is.
Yes. Fuck that guy.
But then we get
Expand on that.
It's a Jean Grey explanation of his childhood, right? She kind of like senses things and then explains to the rest of us how Nimrod jizzed into the dad, and then dad jizzed into mom, and made the hybrid machine
Yeah.
human
They
mutant.
set that episode up, or
In other words,
that particular scene, like almost like a horror story.
It really
Because I went
was.
in the house, I was like, "Oh, it's about to happen." Because
Yeah.
there's that spookiness going on.
Well, as soon as like they walked in, it's like, oh, they said you'd be here tomorrow. Let me go pack my stuff.
Oh yeah, the mom is
Yeah.
just like completely delusional. Alzheimer's, dementia.
What horror movie was it? Where was it? Where but the little old lady in the house was like, "No
Yeah.
one ever dies in Derry."
Yeah.
When this scene happened, I was like, I was having flashbacks.
And she
to
did
that.
kind of do that after. Yeah. Reveal is then everyone turns into prime sentinels, or I wrote them down as like zombie sentinels. You know, and starting with the mom.
I'll take it. I'll accept
It's
that.
pretty apt.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really on point, but it was like, later on the zombies fucking flew. It's a whole swarm of flying zombies, sentinels.
Which was a pretty cool scene, by the way. Just
Sorry.
that rise up of all those sentinels, and you just seeing everybody in all their situations.
Oh yeah, like the parents and the kids are like, "What the fuck's up with mom?
Yeah,
She's
just
drinking
have-
again.
Yep.
Oh, mom's on the fucking pipe."
And it was, I think it was this episode or maybe the next one where they touched on that great quote of like, in order to beat the mutants, we had to mutate ourselves or whatever. Like, because, I mean, like, if you were just paying attention to that whole plot idea, like that question would come up. It's like, wait, you want to beat the mutants by changing everybody? So I'm glad they approached it, and it was that like, yeah, adapt to beat your opponent.
Because like we had to evolve
Yeah.
in a sense to not be the lesser of the species in a sense.
But with total mind control.
Yeah, the weaker piece of shits.
And then we get this moment with the in the villain community. You remember the DC? I think it was Young Justice, where they introduced the light. Was that them?
Maybe.
You remember that?
Yeah, go for it.
Where the light was all the supervillains and like on a console, and they were all kind of trying to direct operations together. And so the thing you get Bastion, and then all of a sudden the screen lights up and there's Doctor Doom,
Oh yeah, you're right.
and
yeah.
then
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
Baron Zemo was on there
yeah,
too.
Baron
Zemo,
Zemo was
yeah.
on there. Yeah.
I saw that shit. Like Doom popped up and he's like, "Don't construe Doom's collaboration with I forget the word, with acceptance of genocide or something like that." I'm like, "Oh, now you got morals, huh, Dr. Doom? That's cool."
Yeah. It was still cool. I mean, this series, and we'll touch on it as we go further into this. This series handled cameos so well. Like, I mean, at its core, obviously, it's an X-Men story, but they very much let us know throughout this series that it's like, no, the whole Marvel universe is here. It's just like everyone's busy, everyone's doing their things, but even the villains are involved, right? Like, which is, I thought was like kind of a cool touch because most cameos are usually some hero, and it was cool to get two like big villain cameos in this.
So that whole gallery of villains, were they somehow helping him out with his plan? Bastion out with his plan?
Well, it's his Operation Zero Tolerance thing was, I think it was meant for the Prime Sentinels to be activated and to, eradicate mutant kind. But I don't know how in everyone was, because
Yeah.
everyone was kind of like, "Well,
I'll
what
have
are
to
you
rewatch it again.
What are you doing?" Like this Genosha thing kind of was a big blow up, and like I think they were expecting more subtlety to it, and then that's when they were like, well, we need our. That's when Valerie Cooper walks in, who's been like the liaison between the UN and the X-Men this whole time, and she walks in and like, oh, dun dun dun.
Yeah, she's the mole.
She's a bad guy too, and then they're like, well,
Great hair though.
We want
Fantastic legs.
we want her to oversee, to oversee the operation and report back to us, and that's how she gets, thrown into that mix when
To quote Doug, it's hot.
so hot when the big reveal of Magneto's still alive, to someone other than Bastion, like,
Yeah.
oh look, he's still alive.
Him being like held up like that, Magneto. That was Valerie's idea. She's a kinky bitch. I'm fucking on board with that, dude.
Whatever, she didn't like it
Conquer
because
me, dude.
eventually she releases Magneto,
I bet she did.
and it
High five.
that shit was funny to me. Her whole storyline because
They got that magnetic attraction or something.
she's
fucking
in there
guy.
and she has her arm in a sling because she was in Genosha when it was attacked. Asshole. She's in Genosha when it was
Sorry,
attacked,
it's Brady bunching.
and then she sees Magneto and like tries to apologize. Like,
Yeah.
the fuck?
They
Like,
make a little reference to his tattoo. He's not talking. He's awake, but he's not talking.
Yeah, and she's like, I know you're mad at me. Just say something. like, are you mad at me?
Us Hispanics call it a pinche toxica. That is a toxic bad bitch. I'm on board.
But anyway, so the Cyclops Gene Cable thing, well, they're,
Oh my god.
with
Yeah.
with Bastion's mom, like when they reveal her as the Prime Sentinel, then they just start activating all over the world.
By the way, what makes it so interesting or intriguing that it's the humans that are turn up is that the X-Men don't want to harm anybody, and so they can't harm the Sentinels. Like, how do you incapacitate them without killing them?
But they do, show up in Xavier's school, and then how do you incapacitate them? But then you get that moment with Wolverine and Nightcrawler protecting Rogue in the infirmary, and they're just going ham on on all these things.
And Nightcrawler pulls out
After
like the sword in his tail and
Excalibur,
everything.
I was like, man, I think I rewound that thing like maybe 3-4 times before I went forward with the episode. That shit was so epic.
Well done.
after
It takes a
Wolverine,
while for him to come.
after Wolverine like Schnickety is the first one, and they just like regenerates, and it regenerates. I'm like, okay, so this is about to it's about to go off, and the two of them back to back doing their and just carving them up. That was an epic moment.
Yeah.
That was a like I was definitely on board for
Really, a
that.
few seltzers, man. Easy animated.
But they still fucked up, the mansion. Like they tore
They
that
ruined the
bitch
shit
up.
out of it.
Yeah.
But so our other team who was at the Bastion's childhood home, they take off in the Blackbird. Blackbird. I put Black Hawk. I'm an idiot.
Blackhawks down.
Oh no.
The Blackbird.
The Blackbird, and they're being chased by a swarm of flying zombie Sentinel people, and inevitably blow the fucking thing up right before was it Scott, Jean, and Cable fucking take a Corvette out of the plane.
Is it a Corvette or is it a Porsche?
As a Porsche? Fuck, it might be a Porsche.
I think you said Porsche because Cable was like,
Because it might be.
"You have a Porsche."
But by the way, the whole through the whole
Is it a
episode,
douche Porsche?
I'm fucking with it.
I'm bugging.
That's an absolute
Oh, if it's a douche, it's
Alpha-
got to be a Dodge.
alpha male white boy
Diana
fucking Porsche. But I do like how fucking Gene, before they blow up,
says.
yet another fucking jet, and he's like, "Beast is gonna kill you. This is the third Blackbird we fucked up in as many days." And he's like, "Eh."
But the good.
I do love all those scenes, where. Because it was back in the day when they used to, sell toys and you used to have all the cartoons. But I know SWAT Cats wasn't the only one that ever did that, where they had like a plane and they had like a bike or something in it, but it just threw me back to SWAT Cats. Like while I was watching that scene, I was just like, damn, I missed that cartoon.
But through the whole episode,
Well, hold on. Real quick, that whole idea of
get
the
to it
X-Men
eventually.
during the 90s, yeah, you'll get to it. The Blackbird, the SR-71 Blackbird was a legit spy plane that the United States had.
yeah.
And most of my family grew up in the Antelope Valley, which is what Edwards Air Force Base is around there. So like some of my family even has pictures of them like test flying those SR-71 Blackbirds.
so cool.
And what I think like the United States made 3 of them or something like that. But that was one of those things that
And the
like
X-Men had one.
yeah, that was one of those things that like growing up watching the X-Men, this cartoon especially was just like, yeah, they got a fucking SR-71. Like we, grew up hearing those stories that broke the speed barriers or whatever at the time, and it was just kind of a cool moment, like for I don't know, anyone that's a military plane.
Well, it's like grounding your shit in reality.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
just a really fucking cool thing because it's already kind of like an outrageous superpowers and shit.
Right.
But I told you I'll get to it. Is that this whole thing between Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Cable, with like their parent and son dynamic, and he has like all the resentment for them, and they're trying to like be parents to this dude who's like obviously a little older than them now. So when they finally I think they finally jettison the jet with the Porsche, and I think one of them tells Cable to buckle up. Sorry, it's just this whole thing was a fucking build up for that moment. It was like, wow.
I love that.
Worth
I
it.
loved it.
And I love the whole as they're traveling through the mountain and they're fighting the Sentinels, and it's just like, good shot, son, good shot, Dad. Like that dynamic is going on. Like I was there for it. I love Cyclops, as I mentioned, and I love Cable too as a offshoot of Cyclops.
Yeah.
literally.
So yeah.
Good shot.
So then it was around this time that Valerie does sympathize with Magneto and then releases him, and he fucking takes his vengeance upon Earth. I mean,
In all his
everybody.
Speedo
Goes to the North Pole.
Does he do it in his Speedo?
Yeah, yeah.
Hot.
Goes to the North Pole.
And you then get like you guys mentioned before, at least you get the cameos, you get the shots of Silver Samurai, Spider-Man, and then Omega. As far as
Omega,
Omega Red.
Omega Red.
Red,
Red, excuse me,
Omega
yeah.
Red, yeah.
Omega.
Another
Omega.
snap card that I use so much.
What I liked about this was because I have
Good Bad Batch reference, by the way.
the original storyline that they pulled that from, the Fatal Attraction storyline where Wolverine gets his shit back.
Here's Rudy whipping his fucking nerd dick out.
It's like
right
literally
now.
the only
Unzip,
X-Men story
whip it
that
out.
I have like
Flop it out right
almost
here.
encyclopedic
Why
knowledge
we
of.
do
It
that
was-
shit.
Flop it out.
Do you think it was like, if you were a nerd back in the day, I think it was almost as big as like the death of Superman, like just Magneto just pulling the adamantium out of Wolverine. In that story.
Hold
arc.
on, we'll get to that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll get to
Jump
that.
ahead
But
much, Jay?
so
Jump straight to the head.
Magneto in the comics, Magneto has his asteroid first before he does any of that stuff, and
Asteroid M.
and then he invites mutant kind, to his asteroid party, and then
I'd go.
the Magneto protocols that they reference in a later episode, that part of that was a network of satellites that crisscrossed the Earth that fucked with the EM field. That meant that if Magneto came back within the envelope of that, he would die. Like it would like disconnect him from his power source, and like he would just die. So in a reaction to that, he creates that like cut, that tear in the Earth's EM field, which depowers the world. When I saw that shit happen, I'm like, there it is, he's doing it. He's doing it. It was
Wow.
it was
I
really
died,
cool.
bro. I was watching this episode with Kat, and I was like, like I was damn near a little bit in tears again.
There we go.
Emotionally sweating, but
There
I
we
was just like, oh my God, it's fucking happening.
Like he switched off the world.
Never in my life. Never. Never.
Just a moment for Rudy's giant hog just laying on the table there. That was awesome.
Like that
was great.
Like those that stack of comics that had little holographic card
Yes.
covers on them.
Yes.
Like I would haul those everywhere with me and just reread them
Yeah.
all
That
over
was, so
again.
that was all this time period, right? Yeah. That's when, as a youngin, again, mostly DC, but I did definitely buy a Wolverine comic that had that fucking holographic card. And he didn't have his adamantium, so like it's all part of this, right? Yeah. Oh man, you're taking me back.
I think I still have these comics in the garage. I'm pretty sure I didn't throw them away the last time I went through.
Oh yeah,
and cleaned everything.
If anybody
Go
wants
check
to pay Rudy like $10,000, do it. Do it.
But so that's how he ends that episode. Like Magneto switches off the world.
The final end of that episode is Charles then returns, and then just to me, my X-Men. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I still have a problem with the possessive attitude of everybody.
My X-Men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about a hey guys, rally on me?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, take a knee.
Come on me, my X-Men. Come to me, my X-Men. Yeah.
Bitches, come. And then I come.
Then I come.
I come.
Which leads us
It's a
to
reference to our group chat.
Which leads us right into the next episode where the fallout continues. Because not only has Magneto switched off the world, but Professor X is back and
Declares war
Yeah.
on mankind. He doesn't just switch off the world. He's like, it. Fuck all y'all.
Well, I love because it was the end of that episode where, like, to us as the audience, Magneto saved the day, right? Because the Prime Sentinels were just fucking shit up, and Magneto comes out in his speedos, and just fucking
really shows his
Fries
fucking
everyone.
power, though.
and
Really shows how powerful
and
he is.
that I was going to get to that because
Sorry about that,
in the
but-
comics, they touch on the idea of the Omega level, like godlike powers, and. So Magneto whips it out and just fucking does
Oh,
it,
dude,
And
Rudy
again,
style.
As the audience, it's like, fuck yes. But then it was Wolverine that was just like, he did it. He declared war.
Yeah. I mean, really, what it was, because throughout all of these episodes, whenever you get little like news bits showing up here and there, it's never in the favor of the mutants. The media does what the media does, and it spins it against people like that. So it's really.
I love that to go back a little bit. I love the dialogue that she had when she was talking while Magneto was making his way
The fuck?
up there.
Yo, he was talking. It went black.
Magneto was right. Oh, you didn't know, Isaac?
Oh, here we go.
I did that.
went night mode.
I did that.
Oh shit! Whoa! Oh no, my Prince Albert's tingling.
Used to see you floating on the chair like this.
All of our fucking metallic butt
Oh
plugs
no,
just
it's
went up a
going in
little
Doug's
bit.
mouth. Trust me, believe me.
Sit down.
But
Jermaine, you sick bastard.
when she was talking while Magneto was making his way to the North Pole, and she was saying, like that brings the question. She said it perfectly, however she said it. I don't know it word for word, but when she goes, that
But it was perfect.
begs the question. Magneto was right,
Oh, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
just that one word that he said fucked my emotions up when he was just there and he was just like, enough. And it just happened.
Yeah.
That was like tugged on my heartstrings.
I do want to take a quick moment to direct people to our Instagram at the Hype Attack, where a post was put up that asked the question, a poll of was Magneto right?
Was he right?
That's a deep ass question.
Yeah, it is.
Like how
Was he right?
how
and
far
was it justified?
how far do you go to protect an entire species?
But this is the thing. Because it's him who has
Depends how cute they are.
who is going through this twice in a lifetime. Like, bro,
Oh man,
you can't be mad at him.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's what made like his character.
If you believe in this.
No, I'm not going there. I did a villains episode.
So to me,
Hold on, let me
Like-
establish where I believe.
so to me, that one word that he said enough was when I say that it got me emotional.
Yeah.
Was because of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's lived through this twice in a lifetime.
So he's
and
saying
he's going through it right now, and I'm just like
Yeah, he's saying it for those who are lost and those who are about to be lost in the same fucking manner.
What we're
Yeah.
talking about, because I assume most of our audience, most of our audience is nerds, but there's a few friends and family friends that don't necessarily know. What Jermaine is talking about is that Magneto went through the Holocaust. And
So he
you
lost his parents.
Yeah, and you see it even in the cartoon. They address his tattoo, which is the
Serial number.
the serial number that he had in one of the German concentration camps. So, yeah, that I just wanted to establish what we're talking about here. So.
Right.
That's why I'm saying like that. That word just got me. It was perfectly said.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we go into Tolerance is Extinction Part 2. And we start off with Bastion. He's now at his childhood home. He's carrying his mom's body. So
Done. Move on. Next subject. Charles Rosu destroyed mansion. We're just looking at Isaac's notes.
I cry for Magneto, but I
Yeah.
laugh for him.
Yeah.
You're paying.
Dwayne's good. We got this. Next one. Next one.
there,
Move it.
hold on, God damn it. Put some brakes on. All right. It does show that Bastion, he does have a side of humanity to him.
Yes.
That's which is important. It kind of comes to play a little bit later.
And it's the advantage that any of these comic book movies have with or comic book stories have with a show versus a movie, that we can slow down things a little bit to show a little bit of humanity to the villain.
Which is, I think, is so crucial too, because otherwise you just go, oh, there's a fucking mustache twirling villain, you know, and
Oh, I would
Fucking
love
Sinister.
it. I just want it. I just want a mustache twirling villain.
yeah, then you get a couple scenes of like Charles rolling through the destroyed mansion as like the X-Men are still off doing their thing.
Oh yeah, those scenes were great. Where he was like, I can't roll here.
He like dust off his like war chair or whatever, the yellow.
Oh, they showed him like touching it.
Yeah.
And then they pan back. He's like, oh, he can't fucking use that. Sorry, I'm sounding very ableist at this moment.
I mean, I don't know why he gave up that exosuit.
I don't know.
Could have used it.
Maybe not.
Doesn't only work.
Maybe it powered off of like midget tears or something.
We didn't cover that the what do they call the Shi'ar? We didn't cover that they were like colonizers, by the way, which is fucking crucial.
Well, I said Imperial. I mean, that's kind of what I.
No, but
what I
he
meant.
really leans
Implications
in
there.
on like they're for real colonizers. Yeah.
Stupid.
Continue.
I mean, I don't remember much of the original cartoon. Like, I'm fake fan here. Like, did they touch on that much in the original cartoon?
When I was looking it up and researching it, evidently, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would. I don't.
Even back in the 90s, they were just like these colonizers.
Oh, that I don't know.
doubt that.
But I know that the Shi'ar, there was this whole storyline that them trying to recruit Charles.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in the 90s, though, like colonizers.
But they were trying to recruit those colonizers. They're trying to recruit, or no? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Wouldn't like to get political
Before
here.
colonizers were a bad word.
Fun fact: that exosuit shows up in the comics, but it's revealed that it takes all of his psionic power to power it, so that while he's wearing it and he can run and stuff like that, he can't really use his abilities at their full
convenient.
potential
I assumed all his psychic
It's almost
powers.
like Cable, right?
with his arm.
Where he has to use all his ability to hold back, like the
The technical
the
organic
T-virus.
virus.
Quick question.
I
You guys are gonna. I'm sorry, Doug. You guys are gonna hate me for this. I haven't looked it up yet. All right.
add it to the list.
Holy shit! I want a list. That's what you're gonna put behind here. What's Cable's powers?
He's
Cool as shit.
You know what? Enough said. Moving on.
he's a power,
came out of the
he's
ball
a
sack
very
of Cyclops.
he's
That's good enough.
he's a very powerful telepath,
Okay.
and then he's a future trained mutant in military tactics.
Because he
all
was
that stuff.
beaming shit across time to Madeline, wasn't he? Sort of implied at that.
No, his teleportation and time travel technology are from the future.
Okay.
And he integrated all that into his arm, which is infected with that virus that Sinister put on him. But he keeps it. I guess in the future he learned how to keep it in check with his powers that he inherited from his mother.
because he has
But-
to keep it at bay, or
Yeah.
he'll consume
Or
his whole body.
consumes his whole body.
But
which we saw.
when he cuts loose, like he's considered one of
Smelly
the
as shit.
like
I was gonna. Yeah.
next level.
Yeah.
Because I do remember,
years old.
I could be wrong, but I do remember in one of the comics where he cut loose and he like picked up the whole island of Manhattan or something like that. Like he's
No shit. Oh, okay. Fuck.
because he's
All right.
he's pretty strong.
But it takes all that horsepower to keep that virus from, consuming his body, which was it?
Body.
No,
yada,
it was the
yada,
next
yada,
episode. We'll get to that.
Yeah, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to teach you about the shit
Yeah.
that you don't know through me.
Part of me though, like as a kid, I didn't know all of that about Cable. I just thought he looked fucking cool. He
Me
had a
too.
cool
That was like
costume.
when I
Those
came across
badass.
him, I'm like, oh, that's a cool looking
Yeah.
character. And then,
This fucking crop top.
oh, he's connected to Cyclops, even better.
That
oh, he's his
era-
son.
Yeah. Yeah. that era. I mean, because that was like Jim Lee's heyday, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That didn't work.
That era
worked
of
enough.
just 90s comics with like the straps and the random pockets and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks fucking cool. It looked fucking cool.
yeah. Jim Lee's character portraits are fucking amazing, and that whole like large X-Men #1 that he did
Right here.
is still one of like the most iconic images ever in comicdom. Like you can
Yeah.
you
That
can put
was-
that up and immediately people are like, oh, Jim Lee, yeah.
That was the one that Jay Lee tried to recreate for the Thundercats, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
Fucking nerds.
So good. And Jim Lee, amazing artist, one of my favorites. Jay Lee,
Phenomenal.
one of my favorites. Thundercats. That one I sent you guys to get today about the Thundercats from Campbell.
Scott Campbell.
Jay
Yeah.
Scott.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Charles does reunite with the X-Men, and there's this. Cyclops has so much resentment towards him. You would think he'd be happy that like his father figures back, but no, he fucking hated what he did.
He
What a
gives
little
them
bitch. No,
he gives them the full Metro Boomin treatment. Like, we don't trust you at all.
I would
Would you-
say
I mean,
out of
through the whole
all
episode.
all of the characters, Cyclops, like they handled him so well.
Yeah,
He's a real character. So like the thing you're bringing up, his reaction to Xavier coming back, like they handled it well.
yeah.
I
Because
will say this.
Yeah.
I have been seeing a lot of people throughout the interweb saying that they finally, as Rudy mentioned on the earlier episode, that they finally put in some respect,
Yeah, absolutely.
and not respect on Cyclops, because everybody has been looking at him like, man, like he's just a Boy Scout. He's such like a pushover, but
There's a reason
Can
he
we
leads
get-
the X-Men.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So that's what they're saying. They're like, we're seeing truly why he is the leader of the X-Men throughout this 97 series. And I respect that.
As you should. As everyone should.
Yeah.
It's
No.
finally getting
Yeah.
I mean, from the
seen.
get go in this 97 reboot / requel, whatever you want to call it, requel, I think is the official idea.
continuation.
Yeah,
X-Men: The Next
literally, it's a continuation. I mean, I guess that's the glory of cartoons is you can continue something without necessarily a reboot. But from that first episode, which we talked about, like Cyclops getting that superhero landing and everything, like yeah, I think all of them, they've really given those moments to shine, and it's amazing.
So you go straight from the whole X-Men dealing with Charles back to Magneto dropping Asteroid M right on their plate and like, yo, who's coming with me?
Was that Asteroid M? Was that just like this big old metal thing to transport people up to Asteroid M?
No, that was Asteroid M. He brings it down.
Okay.
that's what
Which I'm assuming they touched
that's
on
his
in the original
fortress.
comics
where he says up
or
there.
And the
cartoons.
yeah.
So ever since I started reading like the X-Men comics, as a little kid, like there's
Aw.
just things in my mind
Throw up a
that's
picture
like,
of little Kid Jermaine.
Say, aw.
that's like absolute that no matter what's happening, that I like believe that these things are there. Just me per se. Like I always have my sort of moments like It's always on my hip, you know, blah, blah, blah.
He
But
means his penis.
You've said you're taking that shit in the shower with you.
Let him finish.
But
Yeah,
no.
I'm about to.
But if in my mind, like if anything ever happened to the Earth, like I know it's not real, but in my mind, Magneto's like always up there in my head, anyways. So if there's ever like an alien invasion or like an asteroid or something, I'm like, we're good, we got this. You know, that's just the little kid in me. You know,
Magneto
just,
Christ.
I'm like Magneto's like just always there on asteroid Ant.
Some people believe in Jesus and God, and others got Magnus.
Lord Magnus. Just the fact that the mansion was destroyed, we might have mentioned it, but at first you're watching this and you're like, oh yeah, the mansion is destroyed. Like they lost all their shit. You know, they don't have anything. So now they got to go to the other location and they got to suit up and you get the classic suits.
Yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah, so
It didn't dawn on me until you
get
guys
all the
explained it.
goodies.
Muir, M-U-I-R. I don't know how to say that in Scottish. Muir Island, which was a home of what's the chick who's always with Charles Xavier?
Moira
McTaggart.
Oh, yeah.
Moira McTaggart, who ends up
Emily,
with Banshee,
What's her name? Rose.
I think. Anyway, that's like a back base. That's one of their like first bases that they had.
Wasn't she the one that was trying to help Morph like
Scottish base.
get back to
I think so.
like himself, like after he was captured and tortured and went through all that?
And then she died in the Genosha attack, didn't she? She was part of that council.
Oh,
I think so. Yeah, yeah. She was in the middle of all that.
But they relocated that base after Magneto comes down and offers
Rogue.
everyone
The
the chance to join him on Asteroid
Tomato.
M.
which we saw Rogue and Sunspot.
Yeah, but Rogue switches to
Roberto.
her old villain green outfit.
Yeah,
That
the hoodie
and,
that makes her look big.
And
I mean, is she a
Gambit's
villain?
trench coat.
Yeah.
Is she a villain though?
Hey, can you really call it villainy at that point where Magneto's just trying to
No.
save his people?
Well, that's where the big question is up
That's
there.
the whole.
where,
I
like, was
think
Magneto right?
That's the entire X-Men
I think
storyline. there,
Magneto.
Rudy.
What? Whatever you want to call him. Whatever you want to call him. I just
you up
feel
there,
like
That
it's
truff sauce in your ass.
it's those people that not necessarily choosing sides, but they're like, we're gonna be at the front line.
Yeah.
You guys can do whatever you guys want
Yeah.
back here. We're gonna be up front. You know, like what the problem is.
I know we talked about X-Men in the first season of the Hype Attack during was it the Powers episode or something where you brought up the whole idea of that like Professor X is MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., and then Magneto is Malcolm X. Yeah, so the idea of who's the hero or villain within that dynamic is like
means.
I can't say. I'm white as fuck. But, you know, like, who's to say who's the villain? And so, like, Rogue going towards Magneto, it's not really villainous. It's just a different side of that.
Because it's just a
that
different
fight.
approach. Like, you're going to have people that, oh no, we're going to speak our truths. Like, we're going to go march. And then you have the people that's like, nah, we done with that.
Peaceful coexistence versus, defend ourselves by any means.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Anyway, my whole point to bringing up that particular scene is something that I've seen, or something from that original comic storyline that stayed with me this whole time. Because when he said it in the episode, I was like, holy shit, he said the line. The theme of Magneto taking over the school has been a thing they've explored before in the comics. And I think in the original storyline, Magneto stayed until a mutant died on his watch. And I can't remember who it was, but I remember him like leaving after that, and then this whole thing coming. And then when he brings the asteroid down and says to Professor X, he's like, "I've walked your path.
Yeah.
Why don't you try walking mine for a little bit?" I was like,
100%,
that always gets me. I'm like, yeah, he always comes through like for Professor X. He always.
But
he
he
always
can't-
he always
but
shows
he
that
can't-
little bit of
That's fucked up because he can't walk.
I've rolled your path.
Fucked up. I've rolled your path.
Well, that's one of those things. Like I've seen.
That's like a really great point, though. Like,
Yeah.
I've done it your way. Why don't you try my way and see how that tastes?
And this is one of those things where, like, I've seen
damn it.
multiple lists online. They're just like, who has the best villains? What's the best superhero villains? What's the best comic book villains? And like, generally, DC rocks the book, like everything. Right? Batman's Rogue Gallery alone is like top notch, but there's Magneto and Doctor Doom that just sit at the top of that list of best villains. Like most other Marvel villains can suck a dick, they suck, but those two and Magneto alone is just like, that is such a good villain. Like they knocked it out of the park, and it's so wild because, again, going back to, I think we talked about it last episode, or we've certainly talked about it before in previous episodes, how Stan Lee talked about the X-Men as being like one of his more lazy inventions.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, it fucking works.
Because you don't want
it works.
origin stories.
Yeah, because powers don't have to be explained because it's all mutant, which is amazing.
I mean, we've covered it in the villains episode as far as like what makes a villain interesting is when us, the viewer, goes, I think they might be right. I think I can see their point. So
So
back,
he was right.
Yeah, Magneto was right.
so going back to
Fuck everybody that clicked no.
So going back to it is, he presents that question to Charles of, why don't you walk my path?
Because, yeah, that was a great question. I'm glad you brought that up, Rudy, because that shit was perfect.
Because this whole time, I like that. I like that Charles is put in the proverbial hot seat, the rolling hot seat.
You see me rolling.
The hate.
I love you guys.
This is where we lose a lot of people.
No,
this
all
is-
three of them. One of them's gonna lose. One of them's gonna leave. Bye.
Oh man, but this is it's. I'm glad that Charles in this episode is put in that hot seat of like, hey Charles, you didn't make the correct decisions. You thought that you were protecting us. You thought you were doing what was best for us and everything. You thought this was the right path.
And you left.
And you were willing to fucking die on that proverbial hill, literally. But it was thankfully like it was someone like Rogue who goes, "No, I did try that for a long period of time. Let me try the other way."
And then I lost somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. So then we see how that turns out,
And then the Sunspot,
yeah. Oh, that's right. Sunspot jumped ship.
he was like,
His mom turned him in.
yeah,
Like,
my mom, bro.
Oh yeah, that whole.
Yeah, that whole thing. That's so tough because
You can't really be mad at anybody
well,
for the choices that they make in this type of situation.
It's interesting that, I mean, like, X-Men came about because what today we would call woke civil rights movements of representation and the rights of minority people.
Can I expand on that? But
Yeah.
by the way, as far as like minority, it's not just minority being people of color, but of people of different sexual orientations.
Well, that's what I was getting at was
Yeah.
today it applies so much more to that. Like we're 50, 60 years past the civil rights movement of the racial civil rights movements. And now today, obviously, we're in the middle of this sexual orientation, sexual identity. And I feel like all the scenes with Sunspot, Roberto approaching his mom, like just fits so much with that story of coming out and that idea of like, maybe the parents are okay with it, but like, oh, we're okay with it, Roberto, but don't say it.
yeah, we're okay with it in
Exactly.
private.
That's exactly
behind
it.
closed doors.
Those are
And-
the
and
exact.
it's-
Those are
and
the
it's-
exact beats. Yeah.
And it's kind of amazing how much the X-Men story just continues to fit. And I think it will always fit as long as we have people that are misrepresented or
Marginalized.
underrepresented
There you
or
go.
marginalized. The X-Men story will continue to fit, and it's amazing.
yeah. Well put. Well fucking said.
And then after all is said and done, we get the confrontation. Magneto versus and I swear to God, I can't remember which team. Cyclops is leading one team, and I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it's a blue team.
It was like blue and gold team would say
there's-
in the comic books they split
Yeah.
up into
Yeah.
directly. Yeah.
Because from when I could be completely wrong. Four of us, we
Most
could have done
likely.
some research, but I think this is on me. I think that gold team is Charles, Rogue, Cyclops, Wolverine, Sunspot, Jubilee, and I think the blue team is Gene Storm, Morph, Nightcrawler, Cable, Forge, and Beast.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Sure.
If we're wrong, fuck off. Fuck you. Suck
Blue
it
team
in.
is on the ground. Gold team is
The shaft.
up in space.
Space. Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine.
But anyway, you get that assault on Astro Dam with the team led by Cyclops, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And this is where
Pardon. Oh, hell has broken loose inside my gut.
From the
and
bow.
this is one of those things like we've talked about with any of the superhero movies where like we've desired this team up attack against someone strong, and we saw it, and then ultimately it ended with Wolverine, who in this cartoon Wolverine was certainly like almost a side character, which is so different than the live action movies where
Yeah,
Hugh
very
Jackman
much, very much.
Wolverine was like front and center. Like he was the X-Men, right? Even the trailers that we've seen for the Deadpool Wolverine movies, Deadpool even says like you're the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
But in this cartoon, absolutely Wolverine is just another X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he got his fucking moment as everyone was trying to like subdue Magneto, blah blah blah, and then just fucking snick.
Because he's the best he
Shing, shing.
is, as he's the best there is at what he does. And
Yeah.
what he does ain't very nice.
No, what he does is absolutely ain't very nice. And
I was
he-
I was a little upset that Wolverine only got one stab because Wolverine's a damn animal. Like
Yeah, get the
like,
second.
Yeah, like why couldn't he just been like swoop and then like swoop, like swoop, like
oh yeah,
Well, you would
cheese
imagine
grated that motherfucker.
No,
Like
you
come
would- you
on,
would
man.
imagine that
But
being-
it's low key though that honestly he could have, but for myself, just being an X-Men fan, in my mind, anyways, I go back to everything that Wolverine has been through.
Uh-huh.
You know, the wars, the mind manipulation, you know, the adamantium claws, and just everything that he's seen. This is why I feel like nobody's really wrong here, but it's Rogue did, you know, mention, you know, she's like, oh, you're trying to play for keeps, you know, you're trying to kill, you know, so I'm gonna try to keep, but I don't really think Wolverine like really wanted to kill Magneto.
No.
They just want him to stop, restore everything. So it's not. It wasn't a fatal wound.
Okay, I get that. Maybe that was a
well,
no,
no, but
meant to
Rudy's
subdue
point,
him.
I still like part of me is like he's got the fucking blade stone and like Magneto's like ha 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 stick like through his fucking skull, right? Like he was in that position.
Here's my
Snake-
theory why Wolverine
He didn't
didn't
do
go
it.
full berserker.
He should have.
Is he because being on Team X-Men, he has to hold back, and he's always holding back, and he doesn't just get to flip switch it unless, you know, he's put into like, I don't know, maybe a crazier situation where he's like, oh fuck it. But it feels like in that moment he goes, well, god damn it, all right. You know? Otherwise, if something really pissed him off, you then would imagine be like,
Oh, he would have been the
chunks.
hopes, and then he would have just went.
you know what I'm saying?
Would
Right?
have turned him into a Magneto blooming onion.
And that's Speedo.
God damn hot.
So he doesn't deliver a killing blow, but he does I don't know what, incapacitate him for just a moment, makes him
wounds
stop
him.
doing what he's doing.
And those were
And
those
Mag-
moments that like people were like, "Oh, this isn't a kid's cartoon."
Oh.
A lot of it wasn't, but certainly they showed like 2 ounces of blood. Go ahead.
And then during that, Magneto does put like his helmet on Charles to stop him from his like psionic attack, and then
Pro strat.
Wolverine attacks him.
That's that last Airbender.
Magneto's like,
Metal bend.
"Oh yeah, you forget, motherfucker, you're made of metal," and just strips all of the adamantium straight from the comic. There's a panel somewhere
yeah.
just like that, pulling it all out of him. And I think the episode ends there.
It does
Yeah.
right after that beat. And that panel in the fucking comic is fucking brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so brutal that as we carry on into part 3, episode 10, this is now the final episode.
Season finale.
The season finale is Wolverine's sideline. He's down. I mean, this guy has a healing factor, but he's down.
Yeah, he's done
he's
about
off the
like
count.
2 frames of actual damage this whole season, and now he's out.
Shit, his life bar went.
Yeah, like he did nothing, but now we know he's not going to do anything.
And it's they touch on this in further comics, but that his adamantium was kind of tied to his healing factor. So when he lost the adamantium, like his healing factor almost vanished.
But is this the comic book idea that led to him? Like he had bone claws for a while, right? Does he still have the claws?
Yeah.
Okay.
The claws weren't implanted as part of the adamantium thing. Like that was all him before.
That was the big shocker
Yeah.
back in the day.
That he still had the bone claws.
Yeah, so that was certainly the moment that, like, when I was a youngin', that I started reading comics, and yeah, I picked up a couple Wolverine comics because he had his own comic at that point where it was like, yeah, bone claws, and I was like, oh, that's
And just a quick comment that we got to see Wolverine in his orange suit and just got that shit torn the fuck up.
yeah. I mean, I still got to load off, but
Power stance?
not for that one.
Okay.
No,
Casual.
doesn't deserve it. Yeah, no, that was more of a like get it on my belly.
So we hop into the final episode, and Charles has had
Speaking of Fatal
enough.
Attraction,
Charles has had enough. He leaps into Magneto's
Charles
mind
had enough.
and
Shit, I had enough.
and takes control and makes Magneto reverse the damage he did to the Earth's EM field.
That fucking that face off though, they're twirling in the air and both of their powers are attacking one another is so epic and huge.
Can I say, those of us who do read the comics, do you think that's a foreshadowing to?
Talking about Onslaught.
Yeah, boy.
That was the cause of
I
it.
was
Fuck
like,
is Onslaught?
ah,
What are we doing? What are we talking about?
Onslaught.
I can say it.
What's that?
Okay, so in the comic, a quick
him,
aside
Rudy.
because
Get him, Rudy.
they may or may not go this way.
There's
the,
many routes I think they could possibly go. Go ahead.
the damage that Charles does to Magneto and himself by taking over and like forcing him to do all that shit and kind of shatters both their minds leads to the formation of a Charles Xavier Magneto
Fusion.
supervillain
Oh,
What?
named Onslaught.
named Onslaught,
Oh, hot.
and it's literally a mutant with Magneto and Professor X's powers.
That sounds
Just
most powerful shit ever.
yes, just
The name alone.
destroying,
Whoa.
The name
just
alone.
fucking shit up. Onslaught
Yeah.
is a totally badass name.
Interesting.
I know.
Anyway.
We use it as a pesticide.
Beast.
But that's like people like if you watch videos, about where can we go next? Like people bring up that amalgamation of the two of them. Onslaught is coming. Like, well, maybe
if
maybe
you
not.
if he already wrote season 2,
Well, we already.
But
I mean,
anyway,
we'll get to where.
I don't think we
it
got to
ends
hint
up.
of that just yet because part 3 opens up with young Charles and young Magnus at the bar.
We
during
haven't
their-
mentioned yet.
that they have like a little love for each other.
No, Professor X's eyebrows are just fucking slaying. Just like ridiculous.
He is fucking fabulous in this
yeah,
episode.
fabulous
Like,
brows.
On. You said
On
on
fleek.
Okay,
Yeah, on
Okay,
fleek.
covered it.
Is
You
that
got
a
it.
thing? I don't
Still-
know. Fleek,
still-
Waited a
slay,
second too long.
fire, whatever.
got that wrist.
Prof X, like,
And I've
Jesus.
watched-
I can't even watch the show because I'm just
That
like,
people's
damn,
eyebrows?
those brows.
I've watched a couple of videos that are saying like they kind of played up the
Bromance?
yeah, well, more
They got real close.
more so the
Kinda
analogy
wanted them to kiss.
between mutant kind and like homosexuality. How being gay, like sort of in that time was like a big secret, and to come out to another person was like, it was dangerous and it was like a big thing.
yeah.
I mean, which is still kind of is today.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately, that's the really sad part. We're in 2024.
absolutely,
Yeah.
that we're still dealing with the same fucking issues that we've been dealing with forever. But that's another
Keep on pushing that
podcast.
envelope, X-Men.
But
Yeah.
I think they kind of leaned into it, like the way their interactions were, because it was like they were flirting a little bit.
A lot.
So
so,
a lot of people have been picking up like the innuendos throughout this whole entire series.
So there, young Charles and young Magnus are at the bar in their doctor coats, and they're kind of flirting with the idea of revealing themselves, their powers, to each other to reveal their true selves.
Charles whips it out.
He really does,
He literally whips it out.
and he penetrates his mind.
Yeah.
And then Magnus says, "Well, it's
That mind
metal.
doesn't-
Metal bends to my will." You
Yeah.
know, and then it's that moment of trust, and they're like the first ones to come out to one another, kind of thing.
How quickly do you think they had that conversation? It was like, we could fucking kill everybody. Like those two powers combined.
I honestly, at the way that they were portrayed in that moment, if that's a true memory, they had enough innocence,
Yeah.
about them where that wasn't even a thought in Magnus's head.
Yeah.
Because there's the setting there are in some war zone somewhere where they're still, trying to help people as opposed to, intervening and stopping everyone. So
Yeah, they didn't
'cause-
touch on that what war zone it was, but I mean, like I'm assuming like Korean or something like that,
'Cause-
Korean War or something like that. But sorry to interrupt. Fuck, never mind. Fuck off.
But
Go
anyway,
ahead.
from that
Go for
scene, it pulls back and you realize that it's not a flashback they're having there. It's actually them in Magneto's
Their
mind.
head, yeah.
As Charles Xavier is trying to put Magneto back together after having,
What
torn
I-
them apart.
But what I wanted to say before was that as far as their innocence, it was the way that Charles was like emphatically talking about his path, introducing that path that we talked about in the previous episode to Magnus first time, but saying it, I mean, credit to the animators and credit to the voice acting, because to have this character where you're used to him being like a stern dude in a chair is just almost naively talking about this idea.
Extremely idealistic
Yeah, there you go. You know,
without any of the baggage that's come from fighting that
thank
actual
you.
war
There you go.
all the way up to this point.
Yeah,
Rudy with the hot stuff.
yeah. Brevity is not my strong suit. But and then we get the reveal that we're in Magnus's brain.
Yeah.
I do love that transformation scene though, where it goes from their younger selves to who they are, now. Like just that scene where it just panned and you just see his hair grow back to
Yeah.
the Magnus that we know.
Real subtly done, but impactful. And then from there, we ignore the whole other fight between Bastion and the other team, the gold team, and they're getting their asses handed to them.
Because Bastion basically gets like an upgrade.
And then not only that, but when Professor X forces Magneto to fix the Earth, and he re-enables all the Prime Sentinels, so now they have that to deal with. And that was a good quote from that episode too, where it says, "Honoring Charles Xavier, honoring his dream paves his path to my dream." I think that was basically what it was. To restore the Earth and make everything work again. He's re-enabling all my Prime Sentinels, and we're gonna do our stuff.
I was like, oof, that should get.
So during this whole time, because what had happened is Charles didn't want to like kill Magneto. He just wanted to turn the world back on, but in doing so, kind of broke his psyche a bit. And so he's trying to restore Magneto's brain, and it's his dear friend, so he doesn't want to completely abandon him. So as everything else is going on, in the conscious world, he's trying to reestablish Magneto's brain. And that's when, like I said, that's when you get Bastion's like upgraded. There's the moment
With the cable arm.
of go ahead.
Yeah.
So he pulls off Cable's arm and just
Sucks on it.
like damn near consumes the metal and transform into Xanatos. No, I'm kidding.
It was pretty much
Yeah, the wings. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I got
Xanatos.
Gargoyle's vibe from that stuff, but I loved it either way. But it was just one of those that I was like, man, he just straight took my boy's arm. I was like, you don't need that.
Which fucked me up because I'm like that was his whole the whole thing keeping his powers back was the arm and stuff, and he had a lot of technology embedded in that arm too, just because it was it was
Sure.
a metal arm and it's useful. But he took that shit off and I'm like, he could do that. Like, I don't think I've ever run across a storyline where he's lost that arm and then just the homeboy makes future armor of it, because the Prime Sentinels and Bastion himself are modeled off the virus that Sinister put on Nathan in the futures. He just uses it and like upgrades himself. I'm like, oh shit, what a cool beat.
See,
One of the many things that made this whole series just amazing.
Like, yeah, the all
those connection points.
all those links, all those passes they could take, and they're like, oh, we could do this, and just, you know, delight us with it. Like, that was fucking cool.
Yeah. Whip it out.
But Mama saves the day.
Oh, and
Go ahead.
so things are looking dire for the gold team down on Earth, fighting Bastion. Everyone's subdued. Everyone's
They're
wrapped
fucking
up.
looking.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
fucking
Big
losing.
time.
Bastion's
Clapped
doing
up.
a fucking victory lap.
Because Asteroid M is falling. It's going to fall and have a whole dinosaur extinction moment on Earth.
This is before that.
yeah, this is
They're still in the fight.
Yeah. Calm the fuck down.
And all
Go ahead, Rudy.
So, and during the fight, Mr. Sinister had taken control of Nathan Gray because he had control of his mother. So he had, you know, Cable. He had the abilities that implanted before. He made Cable face off against Jean Grey, and it appeared that he beat Jean Grey. And then all of a sudden, she rises from the lake with the Phoenix Force.
Oh, man. Holy shit. I mean,
Yeah.
whoa.
just
Which-
as she emerged, soaking wet. So was I.
I dropped my phone.
And
Emotional tears
it
they
was
were
it
not.
was a total. How do you say it? Deus Machina.
Deus Ex Machina?
Deus Ex Machina. It was a total God in the Machine moment, like one of those things where like, shit, what, like how are they gonna get out of this one?
Dude, she
here comes the Phoenix Force, which
tore ass.
the Phoenix Force had already left. So I'm like, how are they gonna explain this? And she does say like my extreme emotion kind of drew the Force back into me to help save my son.
Well, with the Goblin Queen, with Madeline Pryor,
Goblin D's nuts. I just had to
Jesus.
repeat that. I just had to
it was kind of, she kind of, I mean, her episode, because it was kind of referenced, she had said, what was it, Fire Made Flesh, which is Phoenix's line. So that is just like breadcrumb dropped there. Like, Phoenix ain't completely gone. The Phoenix Force.
I was still like, I watched a couple of videos and they're like, people like, some people don't like it at all that was the beat that they used because it was such a like a, oh, the writers wrote themselves into a corner. How are we gonna get out of this one?
Did.
But that wasn't the finale. Like if that was the ultimate, like, oh, this saves the day, the Phoenix Force, I would have felt that also. But that wasn't it. Like the Phoenix Force certainly got them out of the conundrum, but then there was still
There was
they
still
still
fight
had to
left.
finish
Yeah.
it, right?
But
So it was
at
a
that
cool way
moment-
to like call back. It was a cool way to like maybe get them back into like a square one position.
But to side with what Rudy was saying, it was like here it is. They got him out of the conundrum, the impossible corner, and then Jean Grey goes, "The Phoenix Force has left me. She was always there." And blah blah blah, and then it's gone. And then fucking Bastion's
that's
like,
what
"Oh
I
yeah," and then upgrades yet again, or whatever, and then fucking takes
Yeah.
off to Asteroid M.
No, there was like the whole like 10 minutes of him like holding up the Sentinel arm and Cyclops being like, no, we're gonna try to
No,
Yeah, okay,
this,
try
so-
to talk this out.
this is after. This is
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
This is but oh shit, what was I gonna say?
Fuck me, right?
Fuck.
Fuck him, right? Absolutely.
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
when he
It's
thinks about
gone.
stuff. That's
It's
when you-
gone.
Was it with Bastion? Was it the arm? Was it the Phoenix Force?
I
yeah.
can pee if we want to
So-
think this.
I got you.
So she comes back with the Phoenix Force and puts that fucking crown on
Yes.
Bastion, severing his links
Yeah,
to the
that
to
was the
the,
original mission.
to the
Yeah,
Prime
yeah.
Sentinels. And the whole time I'm in my head like, I love Storm. She's awesome. But if she just let Forge and Beast make that shit into a full neutralizing band, the shit would have been over.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Oh, that's
I understand
right.
she's sensitive because
Yeah.
she had her power stripped from her, and she doesn't want them using the same technology ever
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But that would have been a slam dunk on the whole episode, and I would have been like, all right, cool.
Okay, so
I would have been fine with that.
what Rudy's referencing is back as the episode after Storm loses her powers, before she takes off. Beast and Forge, I think, not Beast and Forge, Beast and
Beast and Forge.
Yeah, they're making that headband they call the Halo thing. Well, she has her parents back again, anyways. And they're like, oh, we could totally make it a thing. And she's like, no, just a beat, just no. They're like, well, I don't want to piss the woman off. Fuck.
It wasn't no. It was a beat, and then like her lightning
fried it.
powers. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Oh,
right.
that's right. She
I
did.
literally missed it because she didn't even say no. It was, me. I'm just like, oh, they're just talking. Let me pull up my phone. I was like, wait, what did she do? And I caught
That's
on.
right.
It
That's
was,
right. Fucking Storm. God damn it.
Yeah.
But that beat allows Bastion to do his upgrade with the Cable's
Sentinel.
arm.
Oh, yeah.
And then from there shoot up to Asteroid M because he's just done. He's over the whole thing. He lost.
Oh, man.
He's lost control over the Prime Sentinels. He's like, you know what? If I can't save humanity, everyone's dying.
Yeah. So he encounters Rogue, and she absolutely fucking lets loose. Does not hold back one fucking second, and she just wails on his ass. And like does a significant amount of damage, but this son of a bitch is like part, Cybertronic shit.
I really hope because last episode you explained where like Rogue got all her like super strength, right? Like she sucked.
Carol Danvers dry.
Yeah, just hot.
Do you guys remember that episode in the original series where like her psyche, because it's still kind of locked inside Rogue, is kind of like haunting her?
Oh no,
I forgot about that.
that's hot.
Yeah.
Because she put in some super strength work. She put some work in.
When that boy got up out of the moon dust and was like just
You can't
and
do
then
that.
it had to like straight like
You can't do that.
straighten himself out like
There you go,
like that was
pop it,
cool. I
lock
was
it.
like, holy shit. And Sunspot pops up and throws some fucking sunspots at him, but he kind of evades everything. My favorite part of that fight was when, after Rogue fucks his shit up, but when they go back into the base and
Jubilee.
His
What are
line,
you going to do?
his
Throw
line,
some 4th of July fireworks
yeah.
at me?
he's like, "Are you gonna slay me with the 4th of July?" And she gives him the whatever fireworks disc that her video
herself?
game avatar
Yeah.
had. She saw do. That was cool. Like
Yeah.
blew half of his face
hard
off.
with that scene with the 4th of July line. She was like,
She owned him enough where he tore his face up more than Rogue did.
Yeah,
and that's
then
that
she was
stayed
like,
too.
"Oh, like I haven't heard that before."
but that also goes back to the episode where she found out that her powers are going to get better
Yeah.
or greater. You just see it in that moment where you're like, damn, she can
Fuck
really
yeah.
do some damage.
But you finally get to the point where Bastion takes out the gravity core of Asteroid M and sends it plummeting to Earth. But
makes-
then Gold Team shows up in a commandeered Sentinel,
Love it.
Yeah,
and Beast puts the foot, like as soon as it popped up, he's like, "Haha! Look at my family! Oh shit!"
yeah, this is great.
That was a great moment.
He gets the Hulk Hogan leg drop, and then what? I'm gonna say, like, I understand it. I understand the beat, but it was still kind of like, oh, just kill this motherfucker already. Where Bastion's trying to like pop the Sentinel leg off of him, and like Beast
I don't
has
think
him,
they would be able to beat him.
and then they're like let's stop fighting the future. Like, let's try to embrace it, and they try to like reason with him.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Please. Before we go into this, can we go back just a hair with fucking Cyclops
Oh.
and his optic blast?
Oh.
Oh my god! I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Apologize.
I am so sorry, everyone.
Apologize.
Put some
Hey, I don't even want to. Yeah. I don't even
Put some
want to.
respect.
I had that in my mind too, and I completely forgot.
I was just like,
I had it in my head, and I
he's
completely.
not.
Put some respect back in
They're
Scott's
fighting.
name.
They're fighting, and Bastion's going through everyone, and he gets to Cyclops, and Cyclops is just pissed because Jean Grey had like astral projected, like, yo, he touched your son. And he went Kendrick Lamar on him and was like, nah. He was like,
They not
you'll
like us.
never hurt my family again. And that wide beam optic blast that he fucking unleashed.
Dude,
Just like the
forget
video games. Just like the video
Forget
game.
Wolverine's Berserker Barrage. Holy shit, does this guy let loose, okay? And ain't the people that are always wild and crazy, it's the ones that are like all like, neat and tight that you gotta fucking watch out for.
We got that like sweet moment with
Jeffrey Dahmer.
The psychic projection of like, oh, I'm like, let me show you my eyes. Right. And he takes the goggles off and then Jean Grey like does her thing and like
Holds the
and so
blast
Cable gets to see his eyes.
Yeah.
And then like boom, we're in the battle.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
see Cyclops taking off his goggles. And it's at that good
Juxtaposition.
yeah, exactly. Of
Man, old boy cut loose, and I
Yeah.
never loved him more in that moment. And those people who wrote this gave us everything we wanted because he had the video game size optic blast, and then we got a Kamehameha battle with the beams, and I was sitting there like, oh my god, is there any higher?
I was standing up while I was watching that particular part because when Bastion first comes in and like I think it's him and Jubilee that are standing next to each other when he first blasts in, he's coming with the thunder and like he's throwing beams and Jubilee like dives out of the way. Cyclops does like some gymnast shit like like flips out of the way of the beam. I was like, whoo, sexy.
And he
sexy can I?
And I know a lot of people look at Cyclops like, yes, he's the leader of the X-Men, but he just has legit an optic blast. Like he's not like super strength, like, but just like Rudy said, just him dodging out of the way like that. I'm like, man, this is why like he can handle these situations. Like just him being able to maneuver out of that way and him having to battle, like superpower, villains and whatnot.
Well,
but just him, you're just like, man, this is the general right here.
it makes you want to like know his backstory more. Like it makes you want to go back to like early X-Men days and like watch his training and everything. Because
Well, you got to see
it was like Nightwing.
You got to see the X-Men actually unleash because they're always pulling their punches and holding back in so many different ways. That this was like, oh, we need to actually step it up and just have no restrictions and let all of our power at this one fucking guy.
They were legit in. I feel anyways in this moment. They were in Magneto's shoes.
Yes, there you go. That's what I'm trying. Yeah,
They had to cut loose.
and although they did that, it wasn't enough. The path of Magneto wasn't the path. And then it was at that moment that Cyclops takes a beat and offers his invitation.
And he gives them for my anime fans, he gives them the Talk No Jutsu from Naruto.
hot.
Which if you look that up later, you understand what I'm talking about. My anime fans, you know what I'm talking about.
I love
they
that
try to reason with him.
I love that moment where you have them and like they're battling and all this stuff. I love these moments in movies too, where you have chaos just going around and you have the villain doing his thing and everybody's going to, but you have just one character just like kind of stops and everything like slows down for a little bit. And you see Cyclops looking, but you see like his visor just kind of go red for a little bit, but then it phases out and he's just looking at the situation and then he goes into the Taijutsu.
Did Bastion actually genuinely consider joining the team?
I think he knew it was too late for him, but I think at that point he was like, he genuinely considered that he lost that fight.
Because he thinks that he wasn't actually initially invited way back when he was a kid, when Charles tried to recruit him.
Yeah, his mom lied to him, like said that Charles didn't want him or whatever, but Charles wanted him, and the mom was vehemently, I guess, is of course as well, anti-mutant. So she just wanted him to stay and be normal. And so that's that whole beat. But hearing all that, because even at the end when the asteroid starts breaking up and they're like they offer him a hand like come with us and he's just like I'd rather die kind of moment, and then he fucks off into oblivion.
He had that one line too where he said, if I did join the team, it could be me on that side of the line rather than me over here. Because in a sense, like because he would have been fighting against
The next big baddie.
Yeah.
And so trying to save planet asteroid M from crashing into Earth are Rogue.
The whole team.
Yeah, everybody
Pretty
up
much.
there, Beast.
Everyone who was on the
Cyclops.
asteroid has to.
Yeah, Beast is trying to like
Forge.
reverse pulse
Yeah,
jet.
he was doing his mass
Rogue's
shit.
trying to push it real good.
Jean Grey and Storm combo attack it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Jubilee was in a position to try to stop, but then Sunspot has to save her, and so they end up as one of the not directly involved.
So they're back on. I think they end up back
They
on
end
Earth.
up back
meet up
on
with
Earth,
Forge.
And then most effectively, Nightcrawler's fucking praying.
Yeah, I don't know if we got any of that in the original card. Did we get a lot of that in the cartoon? Really showing his like religious
Yeah,
side.
he's always been a very Catholic character. Yeah,
And then we
Probably got it
get
in the movies.
shots of what all of the other superheroes are doing on Earth as this asteroid's crashing
Yeah,
down,
which-
as Earth is shut off.
Honestly, shocked the shit out of me because I swear I saw a headline that was just like the Avengers and Deadpool were off limits to X-Men 97, and then we got a shot of fucking half the Avengers.
We
Not
got-
Deadpool.
Can I say one thing?
yes,
So
and then nothing else.
who was who was
About
with
to
the
rattle-
president? Was it
Kelly.
Cap and Iron Man?
Yeah.
So
Sitting on their
Magneto,
fucking dicks.
Magneto did the EMP. How's Iron Man in his suit?
Because
has
Iron
his
Man,
repulsor.
his shit is EMP hardened.
His arc.
Make it make sense.
He has his
Oh,
arc.
no, I'm kidding.
He has his arc.
It's just
He
one of
has
those
his
things.
Magneto plastic suit too.
I do know in the comics, like he makes a
really noisy.
Magneto Buster.
Yeah.
So we get flashes of Doctor Strange, Silver Samurai, Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man in civvy clothes, and Daredevil. I like Daredevil's shit.
We got
Daredevil's
we got
putting work.
Cloak and Dagger. We got
Cloak and Dagger.
Omega Red. We got there was a couple others.
The Cloak and
Again,
Dagger one surprised me. I was like, oh, hey, Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't have known if I didn't play Marvel Snap. But
Well,
they
if I
had, they
didn't
had a
see
show,
the,
right?
the yeah.
Yeah,
I
they had a
actually
Hulu.
liked that show, and I was
I
so,
heard it was good. I
Yeah.
haven't checked it out. Yeah.
I will say, I did scream like a little schoolgirl.
New Orleans
when
heavy.
I saw Peter Parker.
When they started doing all the cameos, like
Yeah.
But and beyond just cameo, just fucking nerd porn, right? Whenever any of these stories show up, we as an educated audience always
where you're going with this.
question. Like
Where was everyone?
what's everybody doing?
Yeah.
And we got that right. Like we saw Doctor Strange, like because all the power is gone, so surgery still happens. So we saw Doctor Strange like doing surgeries with his magic powers, right? And like, I mean, Captain America and Iron Man were just kind of standing. That was kind of like, Jesus, you guys are worthless.
Well, I mean,
But everybody else they were showing, Daredevil was like, because power's out, right? So of course riots are going to happen. So Daredevil was fighting the riots, and Cloak and Dagger were fighting the riots. Like we saw this glimpse of just like what would happen in that
Yeah.
moment, which
Yeah.
I think is such a cool
Yeah.
thing that like the comics touch on, but maybe more I don't know, widely acceptable media.
see, I would have been more annoyed if it showed Thor on Earth and being like,
Yeah, because Thor's not
doing
going to show
riot
up for this
control.
shit, right? Yeah,
But you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like doing like riot control. I'm like, dude, we could use you in space beating this guy because Iron Man and Cap, I don't think are a match for Bastion.
Yeah, no.
Or even Magneto. Because this was before Iron Man even made that armor. So he would have been.
And all of this is happening within like a day's time or whatever. So
Right.
they're responding to what they think is appropriate at that time.
And so at this moment, the asteroid M's jets completely give out, and they're just failing at this task of trying to save Earth once again. And finally, Magnus gets all of his memories back, slowly but surely, and their interaction in their psyche realm, and remembers who he is, and he's like, I am, what is it? Magneto lives!
Yeah.
And then goes, fuck off, X-Men, and just save. Like, that's, again, showing you how fucking powerful that he is. He's like, I got this.
And that's why he's an Omega level mutant.
Bingo.
Yeah.
But then all of a
Omega.
sudden, everything just like it looks like it blows up.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes.
From Earth level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
From the perspective of, I think, Jubilee Forge and Sunspot.
But
Aurora.
If it did blow up, what did we not see?
Bodies.
Exactly.
But what did we then see a beat or two later is the, missing X-Men. This is, by the way, this is after we're with Forge, I think, back at the mansion, interacting with Bishop. There's a poster of like who's
this on
missing and presumed dead.
The old comics had that artwork.
The posters for
Missing.
Was
I
it
think
Days
it was
of Future Past or whatever?
Days of Future Past.
Age of
yeah.
Apocalypse, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them's.
And so we now get to explore real quickly before that episode ends 2 timelines. We get one in the past and one in the future. The one in the future is with Cyclops and Jean Grey, and the one in the past is with basically everybody else. And in the past, they are in like the Egyptian times.
Immediately, I lost my shit when I saw
Isn't it
him.
like 3000 BC or something like that? Anyway, so they come to sand, pharaohs, all that stuff, and they happen upon a fight where some guards or soldiers or whatever are ganging up on this one dude, and they, Magneto comes in and like, knock it off, throws everyone to the ground, and they
Rogue throws a couple of them.
Yeah.
and they come up upon this one dude that they're all harassing, and what happens, Jermaine?
So he uncloaks his face, and you see the blue marks, and it's revealed to us that it's
Ben.
Tupac.
Yeah.
Tupacalypse. No, but it's Apocalypse.
And
What's
Sabah
his-
Nur.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I had to Google it. I'm a
So
fucking fake.
so they do have a comic with his origin story in it, but it's just one of those things. Like right when I saw him, screamed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, because the last beat is actually Beast, and then Apocalypse is revealed, right? But the beat before that is with Jean Grey and Scott, is when they get to see their persons revealed in the future, and a bunch of these like I don't know, whatever, cloaked savages and whatever.
Futurites.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, and then young Nathan pops up.
As soon as she identified herself as Mother Ascani, I'm like, oh shit, they're in the future, because in the comic timeline, Cable is referenced as Ascani's son.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know
So
that.
as soon as he said Mother Ascani, I'm like, oh shit.
I mean,
Where's Cable? And
the text at the bottom of the screen that placed it in the future might have thrown me off.
that
first,
too. But I didn't know.
yeah,
I didn't know it was that particular
that time
instance.
period. Yeah, yeah.
But then they show Cable with his cute little hat on.
Holy shit.
Can we go back to a Cable moment right quick? When they're talking on that table, when they projected themselves, he was like, in the future, I heard all the stories about the X-Men. And he was like,
yeah. The
and he was
legendary.
like,
They didn't do
yeah.
it justice.
yeah, he didn't do it justice, but he was like, in a sense, he was like, damn that, because I should have been there too.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
I was angry. I was angry that I wasn't there joining in the
Yeah.
adventures.
I felt that. But yes, now we see young Cable.
So yeah,
It's certainly one of those things that, like, I think I touched on in the last episode that, like, I mean, like, I was always a fan of the X-Men, but I would certainly call myself a casual fan. And, like, I liked Cable because, Cable came out during those 90s where just, like, costumes were fucking cool as shit. Jim Lee was doing his thing. And, like, I guess I never really knew, like, who Cable was, right? Just for me as a DC fan, I was like, Cable looks cool as shit. and like, Bishop was cool as shit. Like, I didn't even know that they were from
with
the
or without the
future.
mullet.
Whatever. I didn't even know they were, like, from the future. So now, like, watching this,
It's a future mullet.
Yeah. It just goes to show just how awesome this whole idea of X-Men is.
Yeah.
And I am excited to see
Hands down,
them.
my favorite Marvel comics, by the way.
Yeah, no, I look at it now where it's like, if I were to get back into reading comics as much as I did, I would certainly find time or find room and money to support X-Men. And I just hope that the MCU does them justice. Right, we've gotten the hints with Miss Marvel, and then obviously Deadpool bringing in Wolverine. Like, I just hope we get an X-Men that's worthy of the name.
So, because we're talking about these future characters right quick, so Bishop is from the future, but
Not the same future.
You notice how Bishop has that M?
Yeah.
Isn't it from a future mutant concentration
They
camp
mark the mutants.
that he got the brand? Because I remember when I used to dabble into X-Men, I always thought that was a cool concept that they got branded. And that was, for me, in my head, if they ever try to reboot like the X-Men and have Magneto like not in that time period where he was in the concentration camp, I always thought they should have pushed that forward and have him be in the mutant camp, and then him got branded with the M, and of course his Magneto M and all that stuff. But anyways,
because I mean, as we approach almost 100 years since World War II and the concentration camps, like the updating of the Magneto story is certainly
but I do think
approaching.
In the new comics now, they're kind of hinting at why people can come back and kind of live as long as they can, and I think it has to do with Sinister and a couple other things.
We didn't cover
Moira McTaggart.
We didn't cover that Phoenix stripped Sinister of all of his genetic duct tapings.
Oh yeah.
And turned him into a shrivelly old man. We did not cover
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in this
Show me
goddamn
my
show.
real face.
No, yeah.
And Morph's like, here you go. It didn't change. But so to close the whole season off, right, is you get the reveal of young Nathan, and then a beat later, you then get the reveal of Apocalypse name Abensur.
And Sabanur.
Thank you very much. Bless you.
But in his like full Apocalypse form.
And
Big Blue.
And he was the first. Is he considered the first mutant?
hold
believe so.
on.
Or is Namor?
And then Beast Beast gets the last line. Oh dear. To be continued.
No, so that Beast line, it ends the show, and then you get that post credit scene with Apocalypse in Genosha, where he's digging through the rubble, and he comes up with one of Gambit's cards that's all damaged and like so much death, and then it fades out from there.
Yeah.
So Apocalypse is in 2 timelines
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
there, and then they they're. I don't know if they're alluding to anything, but like the fact that he's in Genosha and is pulling up Gambit's card, I mean, there might be some more Gambit potentially in the future. Maybe as a resurrected horseman.
Yeah, I can say so.
Yeah, because he was one of the horsemen of Apocalypse. So
Was it really? I didn't know that.
I think
Go with
I
it.
could be wrong.
So thoughts
But-
on like, do you guys like the cliffhanger of them being in different time zones?
Yes.
It's set up for me, like obviously the Apocalypse story is like one worth exploring, but I'm more excited for the so when you said that it set up 2 timelines, I threw up the 3 because it set up 3 timelines. Like the original X-Men team
Sorry,
certainly got thrown in the past, thrown in the future, but like the present day X-Men, I think Jubilee stayed behind,
He was death.
but
Gambit was.
it sets up the idea that like maybe we'll see some more modern X-Men shine as the original X-Men team is in the past and in the future. We're going to see a step up of Sunspot, Jubilee, Forge, and then whoever else they recruit within the modern timeline. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited for all of it because I think if they continue with what we've gotten, like it's gonna be a long time period before that comes back. And
Well, during the whole cameo section of the last episode, they do show Psylocke and some of Alpha Flight, the Canadian team.
Oh, yeah.
That's connected to Wolverine. So like I think they're definitely hinting that Forge is gonna forge a current team while the
Yeah.
X-Men are gone to, go find them, hunt them down.
And there's even chances of spin-offs at this point, right? Because Disney, if they like anything, it's money, 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 money. I mean, to like break off into X-Force or whatever a million other X-Men teams there
So many
are.
possibilities
Wolverine
that
is
can
the one that they didn't touch on, right? Wolverine was certainly
His status,
on the ship when shit went down. He was on the asteroid, and then they showed us Xavier.
Because wasn't he with Morph?
Yeah, him and Morph were together.
Yeah, Morph did that
Shit.
weird like.
Where were they? Were they in the infirmary on Asteroid M, or were they on that jet?
Yeah.
That was still in the hangar.
No, I think they were in the infirmary, and we saw like Professor X was like still handicapped, and someone was carrying him. We didn't see what happened to Magneto, and we didn't see what happened to Morph and Wolverine.
Well, Magneto was with them in the past.
Yeah, Magneto.
Oh, did they
was
show Wolverine, or did they show
Charles.
Magneto.
Magneto. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Magneto was one that threw one of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They did. Yeah.
So
now
before-
that I've confirmed it, that's correct.
Before we wrap the episode up, are there any big questions you want to ask the viewers / listeners?
What do you what story arc do you guys hope to see moving forward? If you guys are like an X-Men fan, like are you hoping to see certain things that we all know, in the comics, like Onslaught, Gambit being one of the horsemen of Apocalypse, or even the time period of Age of Apocalypse?
Also, my question is, aside from X-Men 97, what's your favorite MCU, moment from the spinoffs that we're getting, and why is it X-Men 97?
So that's about as good a place as any to wrap this
Yeah,
episode up.
What percentage would you guys give this series?
Oh, I'd definitely give it a 98.
Not
Yeah.
give it 97, bro.
Asshole.
Around that.
96.5 easily. Yeah. Doug?
Yeah, you guys got it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Non-committal. Yeah, no, it's really good.
really good.
I've said it multiple times. Some of the best comic book media that we've gotten in a long, long time. Whatever number you want to give it, like 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10. Just
Oh, there goes my Prince Albert again.
yeah.
I just
Eight
want.
dicks on a gangbang.
I
Like,
just want the
Magneto
writing.
lives!
I just want the writing to take chances. You know what I mean? All right, we'll wrap it up there. So tell us what you guys thought about this series, this season, these last couple of episodes, the fucking season finale. Excuse me. Hit us up on Instagram. Hit us up on TikTok. Although we're more responsive on Instagram at the Hype Attack.
TikTok might not even exist in a year, so
That's right.
just do Instagram.
And if there's anything we might have missed, because Jesus Christ, as we were talking, we missed a fuckload of things. So if we missed anything, and anything that was your favorite during this whole
What was your favorite
season,
episode? Your favorite moment?
Your favorite mullet?
That's even.
What would your mutant power be? What would you want your mutant power to be? That's a good one.
Oh, I'd love to be a teleporter.
Oh, yeah. We
yeah.
talked about this in
Yeah,
the
the
power
Powers
episodes.
one, yeah.
Yeah, season 1. Yeah.
So like, rate, review, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. And I forgot to mention to the front,
Without the fur, though.
if you're listening to this, go back and watch it. we're full video episodes now, so check us out on YouTube at the Hype
oh,
Attack.
fuck, they can see me.
They can see me. They can see me. All right, same hype time,
Same hype channel.
Hype
Hype attack.